So another interesting concept that was covered is risk. The part reads, the success of a creative recovery hinges on our ability to move out of the head and into action. This brings us squarely to risk. Most of us are practiced at talking ourselves out of risk. We are skilled speculators on the probable pain of self-exposure. Felt really, really, really exposed in week 7 because I'm very, very guilty of this. I can think of something that I'm interested in, something that I want to do, and then instead of pursuing it, my head will just go straight to worst case scenarios and I'll end up not doing it, you know? Then it goes on to say, I look like an idiot, we say, conjuring images of our first acting class, our first Hobart short story, our first drawings. Which is very interesting. It was very interesting for me to discover, and it made me actually realize that I'm not like this when it comes to other things. For example, me moving to the UK on my own was a very huge risk, and I took it without even thinking twice. Like, yeah, it was very easy for me to make that life-changing decision, which I don't regret at all. But then it's so different when it comes to things that I love, things that I enjoy. Some I wasn't even comfortable with admitting that I loved and enjoy them. But there's just something with those things that I can't seem to move from, thinking of them, wanting to do them, to just doing them straight. So it was interesting to discover that disparity. And then it goes on to say, we compare our baby steps in whatever it is that we want to do against the body of work of people who are way ahead in their journey and who have had maybe years and years of practice in what they're doing, which is so unreasonable and so unfair. And it's something that I've actually been guilty of as well in the past. I'm working on it though, and it says also, once we are willing to accept that anything worth doing might be worth doing badly, our options widen. And yeah, this actually also speaks to I don't want to say but the pattern of perfectionism that has been a way of life for me in the past. Yeah, so because of that, it's also tied into a fear of failure in a way that I don't even allow myself the space to do anything in a bad way, to eventually learn from it and improve, which is very interesting to become aware of. And then they say as well, there is something enlivening about expanding our self-definition, and a risk does exactly that, which I've seen in my life, to be honest. Most of the decisions that I've taken on impulse, because at the time they felt like something that is in alignment with what I want, even if it didn't make sense why, I've ended up being very proud of myself for those things. But I don't know now what has been the issue when it comes to like things that I enjoy, like I said earlier, And then it says, selecting a challenge and meeting it creates a sense of self-empowerment that becomes the ground for further successful challenges. And I guess that's where nervous system regulation and identity work comes in, which I'm already doing. Yeah. This book is just helping me peel layers and layers and layers of myself, and